Welcome to the Benz Nightshow. It is the 13th of October 2020 and it's now episode 23 for the Benz Nightshow. Okay. Adjust tong camera. Okay. So, thank you. Thank you sa pag-ikuban ka nako, and I hope you're all right there. Again, go to YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and put your comments on our YouTube channel. Okay. I hope we're streaming now live, and I hope that you're getting our signals correct. Okay, nakuan sa connection. Let me see. Okay, good. Narito ang tanaw dire. Okay. Okay. All right, so pag-post mo sa inyong mga messages makaigsunan kini first ni message na to si Rowena Mapalo. Okay. All right, chat scene. Okay, crush. Og si Tampa. Nga nung mamaya itong nahong diya. Sa chat scene. Balik sa itong nahong diya. Messages ninyo. Si Jayam Sarabilio, si Rowena Magpalo. Okay, kayo ang signal very clear. Okay, so salamat. And by the way, hopefully maka-comment sad mo na to og unsay inyong feedback so far. September 1 nagsugod ang CBA TV nya mo October 15 na mo, almost 1.5 months na ta. Unsay inyong mga mga feedback, mga reactions kay makakuan ba mi diri, sakripisyo mi diri sa among oras, among time, among effort, mo research. No income, no salaries, no allowances. Kanya nagkami sa among mga kuryente pag broadcast, mga oban pa, including kung mag-electric fan of my aircon. Kami lang, di may program pwede rin panington eh. May gabi ni mo dato ni JT, pa-shoutout ko sa kong asawa nga naminaw nimo gikan sa Tacloban pero kinsa may ngan sa imong asawa. Si Laxmi Borromeo, si Emmanuel Nunez, Rowena Mapalo, Jayam Sarbilio, Salamat sa iyong pag-join ka na ko. Okay, so balik ta sa atong okay, so balik ta sa atong main video mga kaigsunan. Okay, so mag-update sa ta sa coronavirus. So atong ilista na itong background o coronavirus. Pwede ba? Atong ilista ng coronavirus nga mga background sama sa pang. Ya, kini atong i-off ang coronavirus na siya. Ano man yung ubos man niya itong ano sa may gamitan niya itong switch. Okay ka. Okay na. Alright, okay ba ang sound? Irene Primaco, good vermi attorney. Okay, ang signal sa Bye-Bye City. Nagsunod ko sa inyong mga programa. Very good ang signal. Grabe ano? Sa internet mo, moabotan dito very loud and clear na pa video. O sa AM radio sa una, di may kabot na. Magdusod may kabot Bye-Bye late yan. So, abot sa okay, so ngari kita sa kuan sa atong news makiigsunan misi atong i-set up sa ni ang atong GHU sa coronavirus. All right, let's go. That's it. Go. Okay, Johns Hopkins na. All right, very good. Yes, yeah. Klaro ba itong hinapay? Pait. Klaro ba hinapay? Marag-hire ka itong suga, no? Kira ba? Anyway, isod na yung mag-eksperimento na. Worldwide global cases is 37. Apa, klaro ba itong audio? Let me see. Itong audio. Okay. Ang atong worldwide case is 37.9 million. It's actually 37,867,739 cases globally. And of course, times 10 na mao ang suspected cases, probable cases, which should be around 379 million cases worldwide. Og ang global deaths karon is already 1,081,746 worldwide, and that's a tragedy. And the year 2020 just passed by without anything happening. Wala kita. Standing tadi. Standby rata. Ang cases sa United States, 7.8 million cases. That's 7,804,699 as of this time, 9:10 p.m. October 13, 2020. Og ang death sa United States ning abot na 215,089. Grabe siya, no? 215,089. Matod pa gina, there will be about 20,000 additional deaths by the end of October sa United States. So, magkagrabe na magkaigsanan. So, man, 7.8 million cases. I hope you can see. In cases din na sa US. Okay. Ang nagsunod, ang India, 7.2 million cases. Ang Brazil, 5.1 million cases. Ang Russia, 1.3 million cases. Ang Colombia, 919,000 cases. Argentina, 900,000 cases. og ang dito sa Philippines makaigsunan 344,000 cases, 713 naman na sa atong crawlers dire. Ito na i-update itong crawlers big ito na sa okay, subscribe mga subscribe tira. Philippines 304 sorry 344,713 with 6,372 deaths noon sa mga ng Pilipinas. Nandito sa atong Japan, 90,112 cases. Remember sa Japan, makaisanan 90,112 cases. Kaya sila because they have heavy testing. Mga Pilipinas, inihina atong testing, no? Ang deaths sa Japan, only 1,635 deaths. Sa Singapore, ang ilang cases, due to their heavy testing, 57,884 cases sa Singapore, 57,884 cases. Ang global deaths sa Singapore, 28 namatyan sila usa kagahapon or karon. Tanaw na to ang Singapore asa ilang namatay deaths. Namatyan sila karon og usa October 12. October 12 sa US, October 13 na to diri. Namatyan sila usa karon. October 12. Namatyan sila prior to that was September. So, September, August, July. Namatyan sila July 14. So, August 14, August 14, June, July, August, September, October. So, 2 months sila makaigsanan. Namatyan usa ra. And previous to the July, namatyan sila og per month manila matay. June 13, namatyan og usa. July 14, namatyan usa. O niya, October 13, which is karon, namatyan usa. Grabe, Singapore. How to do it. Look at that. And then South Korea, 24,805 cases. Actually, di ko matingag ko nganong inigprograma na ko mo kana tong tutunan pero di mo programa, okay ra. Siguro kay wata okay na wata ito mag-tiyog. So mag-loosen sa communication na. South Korea 24,805 cases of ang global deaths global deaths South Korea deaths 434 cases. Let's look yun 44. Let's see. So 24,805 cases ang ilang confirmed cases. Ang deaths sa Korea only 434. So manata sa Singapore, Philippines, South Korea, Taiwan na lang. Taiwan o Hong Kong. Taiwan 530 cases. Deaths sa Taiwan 7. Hangtod karon 7 lang gyapon ba? This was the last time namatyan ang makita. May, namatyan sila last May 11. So, 7 rin namatay sa Taiwan. Namatyan sila primero February 16 o sa kabuok. March 20 o sa kabuok. March 30 tulo kabuok. April 10 o sa kabuok. May 11 o sa kabuok. So, murag 1 month po rin ilang kap. Murag po siya Hong Kong. Singapore. So, karon hangtod karon May, June, July, August, September, October, November, October. 5 months. So, at least lang mas additional. Hong Kong. Di nyo mabasa mga kaisan, ang Hong Kong cases nila 5,201, ang deaths nila 105. Ang deaths sa Hong Kong. Okay, 105. Repeat. So, na itong run up. Ano itong Sweden? Kaya Sweden, grabe mo ng Sweden kay wag mo sila mo sira. Tanang nasod kanila, wag mo magsira ng Sweden. Ang cases sa Sweden now 100,654. Ang namatay sa Sweden 5,899. Mas grabe pang Pilipinas. Nga Pilipinas deny human lockdown, economic lockdown o public transportation lockdown. Alright, so tara mo sa itong chlorine magkaigsaran o pilan na sa mga updates. Okay, balik ta sa inyong messages. Si Jennifer Ricarte, good evening na minaw Si Irene Plimaco, tinuod di sujud sa una kay nasa tumi sa frequency sa garat kayo tuyokon nako ang radyo. Si Oni Albarazin, good evening attorney. Ronel Hubani, si GT, pa-shout out ko sa akong asawa nga si Janet Hubani, gaandam sa iyang mga tanom. Si Janet Hubani naman na siya tanom. Si Wilson Herrera namina na to, si Napoleon Roque, may gabi dia, GT sa tinyong tanan, o di Mr. Dennis Alegrado, good evening dia, Sir Dennis Alegrado. So please proceed to YouTube, ano YouTube tanaw, para daghang viewers tong YouTube, kay gamay viewers sa YouTube. Daghang naman tag viewers sa Facebook, good. Daghang na sa dag mga subscribers sa Facebook. So for us, magkuan po ta, YouTube sita. O si Mr. Oliver Dakay, good evening dia sir, long time no here. By the way sir, mabay kailang ipang COVID ya. Makatabang ta nila. Ako din i-greet si Mr. Attorney Ping Okong sa Cebu Ports Authority. Attorney Ping Okong sa Cebu Ports Authority. Good evening dia sir. Sorry kasi ran, na late ko deliver gapon kay naglisod ko sa scheduling na ko. Scheduling. Alright, so ngarita sa mga updates nato sa mga headlines. Ngarita sa coronavirus news mga kaigsunan. Coronavirus news. Coronavirus news. More than half of the United States nga mga states are seeing an increase sa ilang coronavirus cases. Yan. O si President Trump, gawan ba na sa inyong lugar? Diba? Saan naman eh? Okay. Si President Trump tested negative for COVID-19 on consecutive days and is not infectious to others. Matod pa sa White House physician nga si Dr. Sean Conley. Ang India's Health Minister niawag sa mga tao to celebrate the upcoming festivals from home as the country topped 7 million confirmed coronavirus cases. By the way, ang India mag-Diwali man sila. October man Diwali or November. Big event ay lang. The French cities of Toulouse and Montpellier will be added to the maximum alert category as of Tuesday after a rise in cases. Na. Unsa mag-iring ni sud mag-iring? Ang Johnson & Johnson is posing giundang sa nila ang ilang advanced clinical trials sa experimental coronavirus vaccine tungod sa usa lang ka unexplained illness in one of the volunteers. One of the volunteers ang sila. So tidak. So ito pa nag-dissolve ko control ni daghang mga update. Ang UK government, United Kingdom, ng UK government has been accused of ignoring advice from its own scientists to consider a short lockdown 3 weeks ago. Sa laing bahin, ang Delta Airlines nag-warning sa iyang mga stockholders it may be 2 years or more for air travel to recover from the pandemic. Delta Airlines posted more massive losses silang third quarter. Ningon sila sa mga investors nila, stockholders, it may be 2 years or more for demand for air travel to return to normal. The airline posted a $2.1 billion operating loss the third quarter, excluding special items. Special charges na siya. Like charges for buyout packages for employees who voluntarily left the company and early retirement of aircraft. Including those items, its net loss topped $5 billion for the second consecutive period. 5 billion. The third quarter loss was larger than forecast by Wall Street analysts, and Delta shares fell 3% in pre-market trading tungod sa mga news. Ang analysts nag-expect og total losses among airlines to top $10 billion for the last quarter of this year, and as the pandemic continues to fuel a huge drop in demand. Kay gipugnan man ninyo, lisod-lisod man yung pag-travel. Delta is the first US airline to report results for this particular for the past quarter. Sa laing bahin ang Argentina may labaw na sa 900,000 COVID-19 cases as schools reopen in parts of the country. Schools are reopening in parts of Argentina with measures in place to limit the spread of the pandemic, even as coronavirus cases in Argentina topped 900,000. The largest province of Argentina, Buenos Aires, is planning a return to school on Tuesday, kaganina, with at least 24 of its districts resuming in-person classes according to a statement published by the country's state news agency, TELA. Classes will last 90 minutes without breaks, and students will be divided into necessary subgroups to respect social distancing according to protocols. In the capital city itself, considered medium risk for COVID-19 contagion ang capital city, non-scholar educational activities such as artistic, recreational ones will go ahead with a maximum of 10 people, including the teacher. The governor of Buenos Aires province announced a significant reduction in cases, but the authorities have tightened restrictions in 18 other regions of the country for another 2 weeks in an effort to curb the spread sa maong virus. Argentina's health authorities reported 9,524 new coronavirus infections pero adlaw, bringing the country's COVID-19 case count to 903,730. Additionally, 318 new virus-related deaths were reported, taking the country's death toll to 24,186 already. Sa laing bahin sa Germany, something must be done this week matud pa sa Prime Minister sa Bavarian Strait sa Germany. Ang Bavarian Prime Minister nga si Markus Söder is warning that Germany could lose control of the coronavirus pandemic, urging something must be done this week ahead of a key meeting between Chancellor Angela Merkel, wa pa gini mapulis Merkel, wa pa gini mapulihi, Chancellor Merkel and the leaders of Germany's federal states, kaning federal maning forms of government sa Germany. He said European countries, including Spain, France, the Czech Republic, and the Netherlands, were already struggling to contain the coronavirus pandemic. Kaya nga man nato og nag-anam og kagamay ang pandemic matupan ni Trump. Nag-anam man nino kadako. Grabe na. Warning that the autumnal coronavirus is no weaker or less dangerous than the coronavirus in March and April. He said, we don't want a second national lockdown, but serious conversations were needed to avoid that situation. Sa laing bahin, ang JP Morgan Chase and Company posts surprise profit gain as the bank withstands economic turmoil sa pandemic. Ang JP Morgan Chase, merger ni siya sa JP Morgan, sa Chase Manhattan. Actually, that's an insult to JP Morgan. He has to be saved by Chase Manhattan Bank. Because JP Morgan controlled the world when he was still alive. The world, Si JP Morgan, mo to siya nag-funding ni Edison, may nag-funding ni Westinghouse, may nag-funding ni Tesla, si JP Morgan. Mo po nag-funding sa kanang Panama Canal nga pag kanabang gihiwa ang Panama para mulusot sa kanadin ang tuyo. Marabag Cebu, to hiwaon na Cebu. The US's largest bank blow away expectations by reporting a profit of 9.4 billion during the third quarter, up 4% from the year before. Per share profit jumped to $2.92, easily topping estimates. Ang CEO nga si Jimmy Dimon said the bank decided in the third quarter to maintain its credit reserves at $34 billion, giving significant economic uncertainty and a broad range of potential outcomes. JP Morgan's revenue dipped 11%, but it was also better than feared. The pandemic has slammed the banking industry. JP Morgan has lost about a quarter of its value so far this year, and its $308 billion market valuation sa stock market is now dwarfed by those of Tesla and Nvidia. Can you imagine? Nvidia mas dako pa sa JP Morgan, and Nvidia is just a graphics card manufacturer. My goodness. But JP Morgan has weathered the storm better than some of its rivals. O karon magkaigsunan si Boris Johnson ni buwag og opinion sa iyang scientific advisors. Nga sa una, remember, ang iyang scientific advisors man gituuhan niya si Boris Johnson na ICU din siya. Pero karon buwag naman siya. There was a time when Boris Johnson claimed his government was following the science at every step of its plan for dealing with the coronavirus. But as the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the UK misaka and the country braces for long, miserable winter, the British Prime Minister appears to be at odds with those same advisors he once placed front and center of the pandemic response. His chief medical officer on Monday poured a bucket of cold water over his latest plans to tackle a worrying upturn in the spread of coronavirus in the UK. And on Tuesday, he faced further criticism after it emerged that his top scientific advisors recommended a significantly tougher package of measures 3 weeks ago, but he did not follow the advice. So, rising COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations may be the start of another virus surge in the US. Tempa. Pila ng second wave na mo, third wave na mo, fourth wave. Wa pamgana imo mo down. With 33 states reporting a rise in new COVID-19 cases at a nationwide uptick sa hospitalizations, mga officials worry this could be the beginning of a fall, winter, spring, summer, or fall surge experts have warned about. In Colorado, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock said COVID-19 cases were rising at a concerning rate and warned new restrictions could be needed with the city's 7-day average daily case rates as high right now as they were at the height of the pandemic back in the month of May. Ang Iowa State, for example, now has more than 100,000 coronavirus cases. Dito sa Austria, makaigsunan sa Vienna, cases on the rise in the Austrian capital months after outbreak at the country's ski resorts. The Austrian capital, Vienna, has recorded 306 new infections within the past 24 hours. Austria reported 1,028 new infections on Tuesday, bringing its total to 57,324. Ang European countries karon nag-agree sila to a set of criteria to make the reporting of coronavirus cases and travel restrictions easier to understand. Okay, so ang 3 categories are red for high risk, quarantine on arrival, and take a test. Some countries may require a negative test in advance. Orange, medium risk, quarantine on arrival, take a test. Some countries may require a negative test in advance. Or green, low risk, no restrictions when traveling to another part of the European Union. The COVID-19 pandemic has disrupted our daily lives, matod pa sa Germany's Minister for State for Europe, adding that travel restrictions have made it difficult for some of our citizens to get to work, to university, or to visit their loved ones. Swiss firm aims to launch COVID-19 antigen lab tests by the end of the year. Antigen, ha? Dili ni swab test. Swiss pharmaceutical company Roche plans to launch a COVID-19 antigen test to support high-volume testing for laboratories by the end of 2020. These fully automated systems can provide test results in 18 minutes for a single test, excluding for the time for sample collection, transport, and preparation, with a throughput of about up to 300 tests per hour from a single analyzer. Roche has already agreed to obtain an emergency tax approval from the US FDA. Tax approval. COVID continues to spread in France as the government considers new measures. France's COVID positivity rate, the percentage of tests that come back positive, is continuing to rise and has now reached 12.8%. Batod pa sa ilang health authorities. Ang positivity rate is a key indicator of how fast the virus is spreading. Now stands at more than double what it was a month ago, which was 5.4% on September 12. As of Monday night, 1,531 COVID patients were in intensive care in French hospitals. The last time the country had more than 1,500 COVID patients in the ICU was on May 27, when the tally reached 1,501. Ang El Salvador is in the second wave of COVID-19 against national outbreak, matod pa sa president na si Nayib Bukele. Sa laing bahin, ang Russia nag-report og another record high daily increase in coronavirus tempa. Na magkaamoy vaccine sa mga Russia. Ingon na may vaccine niya karon nag-record high na noon. Di masabtan. Kuya kaya. Okay, a second wave of mental health devastation due to COVID-19 is imminent. Kuya na isod na. Attributable to mental health consequences of COVID-19. The UK government accused of ignoring scientists' advices to lock down 3 weeks ago. Sa laing bahin, ang South Korea mandates mask wearing while face coverings remain controversial in the West pa. Karon pa day mo mandate ang South Korea. Pilar may patay South Korea, gamay naman. Usabot na ang mga tao South Korea. Di na kinalang i-mandate pa. No need for a mandate sa South Korea. Kuya ni. Kuya. Nangka. Tropical storm Nangka may nga din ha. Dozens killed in floods across Southeast Asia as tropical storm Nangka approaches. Tempo so Nangka Philippine nga Nangka or nga Nangka sa ubang nasod. Nearly 40 people have died in Vietnam and Cambodia and scores were more missing due to prolonged heavy rain and flash flooding as tropical storm Nangka edged from the Vietnamese coast on Tuesday. Okay, ang live karon makaigsunan sa United States, second day sa hearing sa Senate Judiciary Committee nga may mo confirm sa nominee ni President Donald Trump to the Supreme Court seat ni Ruth Bader Ginsburg na namatay a few weeks ago, and karon lawmakers question Trump's nominee on her judicial philosophy. Catholic ni siya, so anti-abortion ni siya. So katong Roe versus Wade, magkuha ni siya ani ron, manipungtahan na nila. And she also wrote a paper trying to advocating for the overturn of the Roe versus Wade decision. Roe v. Wade, makaigsunan is about in the US, the woman is allowed to have an abortion. Okay. Sa laing bahin, ang IMF ning paubos sa ilang global economic forecast for 2021 and warns of a long and even recovery. Sa laing bahin, ang BlackRock investments is soaring as investors plow money into exchange traded funds. O ato ding inyong mga messages. Si Tetsuki Umams, shades lay ako, ang ngayon kayo ka, matupan ni Tetsuki Umams, kuya wala. Ug si Ramir, yes, may gabi events, watching you from Tracy Martires, Cavite. Grabe yan yung ami. Ramir Reyes. Og si Joe Black, namin na to, o good evening dia, Doc. Si Mr. Joe Black. Og si Felipe Minyoza, watching from Talamban, Cebu City. Okay. Now, unya na taning mga business news magkaisag narita sa kuan. Ako, nagisgot na ninyo, nagisgot na ko ninyo sometime in May. Mayo pa, nagisgot na ko sa usa ka scientist. PhD siya, doctorate. Scientist nga taga mainland China but was working at the University of Hong Kong. Of course, dito sa Hong Kong. And kining maong babae, scientist, doktora. In April, milayas na siya, ningato na siya sa States. Kaya gigukod na siya sa Beijing, gigukod na siya sa mga Chinese authorities. Tungod kay, sa iyang research, ni maong scientist, connected with the University of Hong Kong, na dili ka ordinaryo kung makanik sa University of Hong Kong. Ang makasud, for example, sa University of Hong Kong, estudyante, only the top 1%, the top 3% every year of the Hong Kong students from all over the territory. Only the top 3%. So, 60,000 na ang take sa ilang, mo graduate nila. Kanang 60,000 take, only the top 3% na ang makasud sa University of Hong Kong. Munay University of the Philippines na dito. Pero ang nakadiferensya sa University of Hong Kong kay ang UP ug ang Ateneo ranking sa universities in the world, mga UP number 200, Ateneo number 300 nara nila. Pero kini University of Hong Kong mga number 25, number 27, 26 worldwide. So, it's not easy to get into the University of Hong Kong. Now, kining doktora ha, nagtrabaho na siya sa University of Hong Kong, nag-research siya, kay tungod atong nagdaghan ang last year, sa November, December, nagkadagan ang mga nasakit. So, gisugo sa iyang head sa university, sa ilang project na, you go to China, get your sources, and ask, unsay nitabuan eh. And, iyang conclusion, this virus, the coronavirus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, is man-made. Laboratory-made. Mga igokor ni siya sa China, ningadto siya sa US, interview na siya sa FBI, o lately, last week, ang iyang mama sa mga scientist, kaya scientist siguro, inatang edad niya mga 40. Iyang mama, mga 60 years old, 65. Iyang mama, gidakop dito sa China. Gidakop. Kibaw ka, you know, if you're a scientist, you come up with a theory that it is man-made, ang coronavirus, mura kagbuang, because the mainstream doctors are saying this is not man-made. This jump from the bats into humans, onto humans. Now, this scientist is crazy. Weird. She's probably one of the mainstream scientists, University of Hong Kong, remember this, who claims that this is a man-made coronavirus. Now, if she is wrong, then Beijing would just have laughed at her. Katawan siya sa Beijing. She would have been ignored, obviated, forgotten. So, Beijing would have a nonchalant attitude to this scientist. But why is it that Beijing is trying to get her, and in fact, the revenge of Beijing is via the arrest of the mother of the scientist. Now again, the scientist is from China. She worked in the University of Hong Kong in Hong Kong. Sometime in April or May, she fled to the US. Ang iyang husband did not even go with her. That's why it go with her. The husband just stayed in Hong Kong. So she alone left. Ato ning ililahon makaigsan kinsa ni siya. Kini siya si Dr. Yan. Ayang first name Li Ming. So Yan Li Ming or LM Yan. Si LM Yan was born in 1984. Born in 1984, may pag-graduate ako sa college na magkaigsunan. Graduate ako kasi siya mapipagalaw. Ang age count is 37 years old. She was educated at the Central South University. In Yangsha Medical College. Yan na siya. PhD sa Southern Medical University. Profession niya, she was a postdoctoral researcher. Ito ha. He was a postdoctoral researcher in the field of medicine dito sa University of Hong Kong School of Public Health. By the way, ang University of Hong Kong, one of the centers of the World Health Organization. Mga research nila, manggawat din sa news. Iyang subspecialty is immunology. Ang iyang research is on influenza vaccine cell-mediated immunity. Si L.M. Yan or Li Ming Yan, virologist ni siya, who claims as part of her work to have been aware of person-to-person transmission of COVID-19 in late December 2019. By the way, remember ang China, wagid siya moangkon na naay person-to-person transfer. Miangkon ni China mga January na. Sa December, wagid. Mga late January in China, maingon nga person-to-person. Kaya ang ilang muna gyud from animals to person. But to person, wala. Pero, kini si L.M. Yan, doktora, babae ni siya, claims to have been aware of the person-to-person transmission of COVID-19 in late December 2019. And she claimed to have tried to communicate the risks to those higher up in the chain of command in January 2020. She alleges that the Chinese government and the World Health Organization knew about the person-to-person transmission of COVID-19 earlier than they reported or made public and suppressed both her research and others. Now, narita, uno sa takadiyot. Way back in January, wala pa muangkon og person-to-person transmission ang China o World Health Organization. Nakakita na kong interview conducted by the JAMA, nanis YouTube, JAMA, G-A-M-A, Journal of American Medical Association. Journal sa AMA. Nakakita na kong makaigsoon sa journal sa GMA, sa JAMA. Gi-interview si Dr. Fauci. Wa pa ta kailang Fauci at the time. It was the first time kakita kong Dr. Fauci. First time I heard, I knew who he was. And Dr. Fauci was interviewed by the JAMA on YouTube, posted on YouTube. And he was asked, na ba ni person-to-person transmission? Ning ingon si Fauci, ang World Health Organization wala pa mo declare, ang China wala pa mo declare o person-to-person transmission. But, ano igingon niya, but, my counterparts in China, kaya remember, mga virologist mo, mga infectious disease, mag-meeting, mo convention sa small community, you know each other. Okay? For example, kung mga Secretary of Health, pila, Secretary of Health in the world, so magkailagin mo. Kini siya, si Dr. Fauci, niingon siya, wa pa gi-declare sa World Health Organization, WHO, wala pa gi-declare sa China, but I called up my counterparts in China and they said there is person-to-person transmission. Bang! So, mungtana ko ninyo ning jay ba ni sa kang Dr. LM yan nga claim? Yes. Nga, nakaibaw na sa siya, wa pag i-reveal na, cover up na sa Chinese government of the World Health Organization because they don't want to make, panic the people. In April 2020, maginanggingan nyo, April 2020, she fled to the United States where in September 2020, she co-authored a widely disputed preprint research paper, distributor na siya. Research paper alleging that the SARS-CoV-2 was made in a Chinese government laboratory. Nisubmit siya September 2020, pero ang iyang claim April pa. September, that was a few weeks ago. According to a scientific review, the paper presents a theory. Ang scientific review by the Johns Hopkins, kami itong source atong data sa kada gabi, presents a theory about the origin of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, but offers contradictory and inaccurate information that does not support their arguments. 4. Reviewers published in the MIT Press said the manuscript does not demonstrate sufficient scientific evidence to support its claims. Mo lagi, pero ngano lagi gidakop niyo yung mama last week? Her research sa bata pa siya, yung background, the study of the inhibition effect of propranolol on the corneal neovascularization in alkali-induced injury mouse model, and the challenges in developing universal influenza vaccine. Now, si LM Yan, Dr. LM Yan, said she was one of the first scientists in the world to study the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan after Liu Pun, her supervisor at the University of Hong Kong, which is a WHO reference lab, asked her to look into a cluster of SARS-like cases in Wuhan in December 2019. By the way, kini si Liu Pun, he is still at the University of Hong Kong. In fact, ako na siyang gi-quote dire many times sa itong program ang iyang mga statements. Liu Pun is a famous scientist and also affiliated with the WHO. So si Liu Pun, may misugo niya ni LM Yan. So din ordinaryo na pagkasuguan. According to Fox News, Yan maintained an extensive network of medical professionals from mainland China. China siya. One of whom purportedly told Yan about human-to-human transmission of the novel disease on December 31, 2019. Now, remember, at this time, wala pa mangkon ani ang gobyerno o ang WHO. According to LM Yan, she reported her findings about the virus multiple times to her superiors, including on 16 January, after which she was warned by her supervisor to keep silent and be careful. So si Liu Pun mismo nalok. Yani, hawa lagi siya kay ba siya kung saan pag-treat ang mga whistleblower sa China. Mga billionaire gani nga ning criticize lang ni Xi Jinping, preso man gani. Before the Chinese government publicly said it knew of human-to-human transmission in a January 2020 interview with Lodi Media owned by Go Wingwai. Of course, kinis Go Wingwai magkaigsunan, remember, ato na mention, siya US billionaire, gukod po ni siya. Lahi po ni siya sa katong gidakop ng billionaire, gidakop last month. Kiniingon na siya nga, wa maayo pagkada ni Xi Jinping kining COVID-19. Preso na yun. Now, kini si Gugong Wei, nani siya sa Amerika. Ato na mention siya before. Katong tagiyag yati, tagiyag one of the most expensive apartments in Manhattan. Yan accused the Chinese government of knowing about these aspects of the novel coronavirus. She fled to the US on 28 April with what she said was her intention of delivering the message of the truth of COVID, adding that if she tried to tell her story in China, she said she would be disappeared and killed. Between July and August, Yan was interviewed by Fox, Newsmax, and the Daily Mail. Daily Mail sa UK na. By the way, magkaigsa na, July, August siya gi-interview. Pero sa April, May, June, gi-interview siya sa FBI. So before siya sa press, nag-ano siya sa FBI. In July, si LM Yan nag-ingon that she and her colleagues had an obligation to tell the world of their research, given their status as a WHO reference laboratory. She also accused her supervisors, including Leo Pun and Malik Pires, of ignoring her research. Now, kini si Malik Pires, murag Malaysian ni siya nga nasa University of Hong Kong. Si Leo Pun, I said, sikat na siya sa Hong Kong mismo, sa scientific community. In July 2020, a press release, from the University of Hong Kong stated, HKU notes that the content of the said news report does not accord with the key facts as we understand them. Specifically, Dr. Yan never conducted any research on human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus at HKU during December 2019 and January 2020. Ay, di good kinahanglan nga siya nag-research. Nag-research siya, gathering information is research. Ang nagsulti niya, ang iyang mga friends, gikan sa China. Her central, padayon ta sa press release. Her central assertion of the said interview, we further observe that what she might have emphasized in the reported interview has no scientific basis but resembles hearsay. Now, the HKU press release did not mention when and why LM Yan left Hong Kong University. Okay, HKU. Okay, now remember, si Dylan na mag-eskwela sa HKU karon. Now, according to the South China Morning Post, SNP, the director of HKU's School of Public Health, si Kiji Fukuda, said in an internal memo to staff that none of the researchers named by Yan were involved in any cover-up or secret research. Now, i-publish ang research nila. Yan co-authored a 3-paragraph long paper entitled Viral Dynamics in Mild and Severe Cases of COVID-19, published in The Lancet nga magazine. Sige, tag-quote aning The Lancet dire makaigsunan. In March 2020, regarding the viral shedding patterns observed in COVID-19 patients. 4 of the 9 co-authors were from the Hong Kong University, the University of Hong Kong, and the remaining 5 were from the first affiliated hospital of Nanchang University. May magway research nga, magaling mga nga si mga co-authors. She also co-authored Pathogenesis and Transmission of the SARS-CoV-2 in Golden Hamsters, published in Nature magazine in May 2020, regarding transmission of the virus in hamsters. This paper was also co-authored by her now former colleagues at HKU. The abstract of the paper states that the SARS-CoV-2 virus has a high nucleotide identity to SARS-related coronaviruses detected in horseshoe bats. Now, paper on the origins of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. In September 2020, that's a few weeks ago, Yan co-authored a pre-print research paper, wa pa ma-print, kanang kwan pa, for review pa ni siya. Research paper named Unusual Features of the SARS-CoV-2 Genome Suggesting Sophisticated Laboratory Modification rather than natural evolution and delineation of its probable synthetic route. Ay. So in other words, matod pa ni sa mong paper ni LM yan, co-author po ni siya, na suggest ko ng laboratory ni nabuhat ang SARS-CoV-2. 3 other researchers were listed as co-authors, but the South China Morning Post was unable to find any prior work from them. The paper was uploaded to the Zenodo website, an open access repository where anyone can post their research. The paper is affiliated with the Rule of Law Society, founded by Steve Bannon and Go Wingwei. So, si Steve Bannon, Go Wingwei, ang ilang interview, ako na nang kuha ninyo, i-share ninyo sa una. The Rule of Law Society, described by Snopes as a political organization, had not previously published scientific or medical research. Yan had previously appeared on Bannon's War Room podcast. Interview si Steve Bannon. Si Steve Bannon, kibaw siguro, advisor biya na ni Trump, niya ni resign. According to the paper's abstract, SARS-CoV-2 shows biological characteristics that are inconsistent with a naturally occurring zoonotic virus, or virus coming from animals, zoonotic, and it could have been created in a lab in approximately 6 months. As of September 21, 2020, the paper has not been submitted to a scientific peer-reviewed publication. Considering its central claim, a September 21 review of the preprint by 4 authors from the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security said, Yan et al. Referred to an extensive scientific literature providing genomic, structural, and literature evidence to counter the prevailing theory in the scientific community that the origin of SARS-CoV-2 is a natural zoonosis emerging from animals. But they do not cite any references to support their claim, a crucial basic practice for any researcher. As of early October, a Massachusetts Institute of Technology project called Rapid Reviews COVID-19, RRC-19, which seeks out preprint papers and reviews them in an attempt to prevent the dissemination of false or misleading scientific news, although it is not traditional peer review, has issued 4 evaluations of Yan's preprint. All 4 reviewers rated the preprint as misleading on the project's strength of evidence scale. The lowest strength rating, which is accompanied by the statement serious flaws and errors in the methods and data, render the study conclusions misinformative. The results and conclusions of the ideal study are at least as likely to conclude the opposite of its results and conclusions than agree. According to Newsweek, several experts in evolutionary biology and infectious disease, including Jonathan Eisen and Carl Bringstrom, said the paper did not include new information, contained multiple unsubstantiated claims, and had a weak scientific case. Angela Rasmussen, a virologist at Columbia University, said the paper was basically all circumstantial and some of it is entirely fictional. For example, the paper asserts that SARS-CoV-2 has a unique furin cleavage site in its protein structure completely absent in this particular class of coronaviruses found in nature. However, Rasmussen says that many coronaviruses, including the 2012 MERS-CoV, have sites have these sites, and that hence this proves exactly nothing. Matod pa sa mga researcher, ha? Okay. Andrew Preston, a biologist from the University of Bath in the UK, said the preprint report cannot be given any credibility in its current form. Yan's paper also stated that two strains of bat coronaviruses discovered in China, the ZZ45 and the ZX21, were suspiciously similar to the SARS-CoV-2, and these strains would have been used as a template for a deadlier virus. Si Craig Whelan at the Yale School of Medicine said that this kind of genome selection is nearly impossible. Pinamino rin nato ron si Henry Banquerigo, si Hannah Boncaras, o si Norma Romarati. On September 15, Yan's Twitter account was suspended, although the reason for the suspension was unclear. She had only 4 visible posts, one of which linked to the pre-print paper. Ang Fox News nga amigo kayo ni Trump, ang controversial na si Tucker Carlson, nag-interview ni Yan, and Tucker said she was suspended from Twitter because they didn't want the people to know this truth. According to Yan, the Chinese Communist Party, and the world scientific community collaborated to hide the truth. Yan argued in her October 2020 paper, SARS-CoV-2 is an unrestricted bioweapon, a truth revealed through uncovering a large-scale organized scientific probe that the COVID-19, according to her paper, is a bioweapon made by military research laboratories under the control of the Chinese Communist Party government. Okay, so iyaw ko na. So, si Yan Makingsonan, and siya, I fled Hong Kong because I know how they treat whistleblowers. Ato ning ito na siya interview kasi ito na siya ma-share po. Tanong pa siya, 37 years old, serious ka siya. Dito sa India, nasa news article about her, a former Chinese virologist from Hong Kong, si Dr. Li Mingyan, has claimed that SARS-CoV-2 virus was developed in a government laboratory, and also said that she has evidence to back the claim up in an interview with the UK channel ITV. Covered po siya sa iyang report sa The Australian newspaper. Chinese defector virologist Dr. Li Mingyang published his report claiming COVID-19 was made in a lab. Okay, anyway, salamat sa pag-uban ka na kung magkasunan. This is the 23rd episode of the Benz Nightshow. October 13, 2020. Salamat sa pag-iuban ka na ko, and I hope sa mga na ibawaan na nakaplagan nga can improve your knowledge. Thank you and good evening. See you tomorrow.